What is going on, boys and girls? It's your man right here, the one and only Black Avenger, aka the Black Azrael Lee Sanders, coming at you with a special Sunday night VRCWR post show as we are covering the Super Bowl 2015. It literally just went off the air a couple of minutes ago. We had saw the Vince Lombardi trophy go down and everything. And I got to tell you, fantastic Super Bowl. I took plenty of notes to talk about the Super Bowl with you guys as we're going to talk about the game. I'm also going to talk about a vast majority of the commercials that I saw as I sat down and began watching it pretty much right when the game was about to come on. I didn't do the pregame show. I just went straight for the actual game itself. So if I missed a couple of commercials, I'm relying on you guys to definitely post those comments down below. Let me know what commercials it was that myself and maybe a few others might have missed. Of course, if you saw the Super Bowl, I want to hear from you all. I want to know, what commercials did you like the most? What commercials did you not like, or that you found to have basically rubbed you the wrong way, that maybe you didn't like, period? Post those comments down below. Of course, you can always interact with us a number of ways. You can hit us up on Facebook at Infinity One Productions. That's Infinity with an E, spell out one, Infinity One Productions. We're also on Twitter at the RCWR Show. If there's any type of lag as you all are checking this out right now on YouTube, we will have this be available on the downloads in audio format for you all to check out shortly after we get done with this. Remember, you can share this a number of ways: by Facebooking it, Google Plusing it, retweeting it. As always, is one of many ways you can spread the good word about our content. All right, so off the break, I got to give a big congratulations to the New England Patriots, who defeated the Seattle Seahawks 28-24 was your final score, as the Patriots would go on to win their fourth title in team history. Yes, their fourth title in team history. And what a fantastic game this was. I actually enjoyed it more so than last year's Super Bowl. This one for me, and I can say this without any type of favoritism to a team, as those of you that have been our longtime followers, our longtime subscribers, you all know that there are just a handful of teams that I follow on a regular season basis. For those of you that aren't sure what teams I follow the Redskins, I follow the Giants, I follow the Broncos, I follow the Patriots. I follow the Seahawks. I actually have been checking out their games as of late. I was watching the Ravens. I was following their games until that whole controversy I'm not going to talk about, because that's an entirely different show. But I was following them for a little bit. I actually enjoy the San Francisco 49ers. So I have a handful of teams that I like to follow. I don't just stick with one team and just ride them out to the better end. So I can say this without any type of favoritism in my heart: the Patriots, the Seahawks, a lot was on the line in this game. I mean, of course, for the Seattle Seahawks, give them a lot of props. They won last year's Super Bowl. Here they are again doing something that is very, very rare, actually defending your Super Bowl championship from last year at the next year's Super Bowl. There's not that many teams. I'm quite sure the list is very, very small if you were to do a little bit of homework. So for the Seattle Seahawks, for them to be able to make it to Super Bowl again, I just got to tip my hats off to them. I mean, a lot of people really weren't getting behind the Seattle Seahawks last year. And it's so funny, too, because for a lot of people, the Seattle Seahawks, they just literally came out of nowhere. A lot of them really weren't expecting them to go all the way. And then once they saw that awesome offense led by quarterback Russell Wilson, it's like, oh man, next thing you know, everybody's getting on top of the Seattle Seahawks. I mean, I've got people at my job, and I know damn well for a fact last year they did not give a hoot about the Seattle Seahawks. It was like, Seattle who? And then all of a sudden, my office is just filled with people, go Seahawks. And it's kind of like, where the hell were you guys last year? I don't get that. But I got to give a lot of props to the Seahawks for taking it this far. Came up a little bit short. Hey, it happens. In the end, there can be only one, is what Duncan McLeod usually says. A little Highlander reference for you guys. New England Patriots. Now, look, I've been paying attention to all of this Deflate-Gate controversy that's been going on. As you would imagine, the New England Patriots had a big chip on their shoulders going into Super Bowl Sunday. They had to silence the critics. They had to silence those people that said, hey, they don't deserve to be in the Super Bowl. They basically cheated to get to this point. Hey, maybe the other team could have won if it wasn't for their staff deflating the balls and all that. Yeah, everybody was just being downright ugly towards the Patriots. And I mean, look, Patriots, no stranger to controversy. You think about spy games and all that. You know, we can go on and on and on, but to bring it back home, they had a big chip on their shoulders going into this game. They had a lot to prove, and honestly, I think they did it in great fashion. Let's talk about some key points from tonight's game. And of course, if you missed the game, I'm sure it's probably going to be airing late night tonight on the NFL network or whatnot. Check your local listings. We'll talk about all the commercials in a little bit. I'll talk about which ones really caught my eye and which ones sucked. Surprisingly, my list this year for worst commercials, list is very small this year. We'll also talk about Katy Perry's halftime special. Have a lot to say with regards to that. I jotted down a lot of good notes right here. I was watching the game and I was just jotting it down as stuff was happening. So let's pick this up. Of course, the Seattle Seahawks, their defense on freaking fire. I mean, these guys are ranking first, that is, as far as points allowed. Also ranked first in yards allowed, ranked third for rush alloweds. Passing, they're ranked first. I mean, these guys, you mess up, these guys will capitalize. All right. So let's take it up in the first quarter with a minute and 55 left. We saw an interception come from Tom Brady as Jeremy Lane of the Seahawks had intercepted his ball. With about over 7 minutes of possession for the Patriots. This was definitely a costly move right here. Now, let's also back it up, as this was a really good move for the Seattle Seahawks, as they had decided at the coin toss, which they won. They decided that they would kick the ball to New England and that they would receive the ball at the start of the second half. So Tom Brady looking a little bit good on a couple of plays till that interception came from Jeremy Lane. A costly move, as Jeremy Lane would go out with an injury to his left arm. His return was doubtful. As far as I'm aware, he did not return for the rest of the game. I do remember hearing a little bit of updates on him throughout the course of the night. He did not return. His return, again, was doubtful. And with no score, we had saw the first quarter come to an end. Yes, for the first quarter, it was a scoreless game. Nobody did anything. Let's pick it right up in the second quarter. Julian Edelman. This is a guy that I am going to be talking about a lot. This guy, if there was really a true MVP for tonight's Super Bowl game, I really felt it should have been Julian Edelman. I mean, he was really doing a fantastic job in keeping the Patriots into the hunt here. Take it up 3rd and 9, second quarter, 10:40 mark. He caught the ball for a 23-yard gain. And then once again, in the 9-minute 50 seconds, same quarter, on 2nd and 9, Brady would end up finding Brandon LaFell for a scoring drive touchdown. Very good, strong drive that was. They went for a strong slant with that drive that they did in setting up Brandon LaFell. They went up 7-0 over the Seahawks. Later, second quarter, with 4 minutes, 7 seconds left on 2nd and 5, Russell Williams would connect with Chris Matthews. This was one of many collaborations with Chris Matthews, by the way. Chris Matthews on this drive, he gained 44 yards for a first down. Big, huge play right here. It was nice, deep, loved it. Keep in mind, as far as Chris Matthews go, up to this point, he did not catch a ball for the entire season. Only in the postseason would he make his presence felt. Also from there, Marshawn Lynch would follow that play up 2 plays later with a rushing touchdown for about 5 yards to help Seattle tie things up at 7 with 2 minutes, 16 seconds left in the second quarter. For you Marshawn Lynch fans, a lot of y'all are like, that's the X factor. Only thing they got to do is just keep really going to him, feeding him the ball. He did not see any play tonight. I wish I was pulling a rib on you guys. Other than that play, he was not a factor whatsoever. It was actually something that Tony Dungy and the rest of the gang of the NBC post show and all that, the pregame show, is actually something that they had talked about post show, as they were very critical on the Seattle head coach for not making it be his business to try to go more to Marshawn Lynch. I don't know. That's just one of those head scratching moments right there, to each its own. From there, Gronkowski, he would catch a 22-yard pass from Tom Brady, which at this point would set up the Patriots for 8 plays for 80 yards to take the Patriots 14-7 and 29 seconds left in that second quarter. Remember, I was telling you about Chris Matthews. Yeah, he would come back as he would help the Seahawks in the first half with a 11-yard touchdown pass. That was a great first half right there. Let's talk about some of these halftime specials. All right. So last year it was Bruno Mars. Now, those of you that checked out our last year's Super Bowl coverage, I was very critical of Bruno Mars. A lot of people felt as though I was being a little bit too harsh. And look, I got to be brutally honest. You had that Uptown Funk song come out couple of weeks back. I really got behind that. I thought it was awesome. I say, you know what? Maybe I'm being a little bit too harsh on Bruno Mars. Let me go backtrack. Let me check out some of his catalog. I'm now like Bruno Mars. I went back. I watched the halftime show that he did last year. I said, hey, you know what? It was actually pretty damn good. All right. He's awesome. Katy Perry. Katy Perry's Pepsi halftime show. I was watching this with a couple of family members and friends via video Skype conference and all that. And I was also watching it with my girlfriend and everything. And, you know, it was so funny when Katy Perry came out because she was riding this mechanical lion and all that. And I'm saying to myself, there's no way in hell she's going to be able to sing while she's steering that bad boy at the same time. I mean, most people, I don't care how sturdy it feels and everything, you're gonna kind of sing kind of not really that confident, you know. And a couple of times the camera would zoom in and you're like, she's lip syncing. And sure enough, there was like one particular frame that they showed her in, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's obvious, clear as day, she's lip syncing. And for me, I just was like, you know what, this halftime special, it just lost all credibility. It's like, come on, Beyonce, she went live not last year, but the year before. Bruno Mars went live last year, as far as I know. If he was lip syncing, ouch, my bad. As far as I could tell, it didn't look like he was lip syncing, but it was clear as day. Katy Perry was lip syncing. And at that point, I just cared about who were the other people that she was doing this halftime special with, because for me, she needed some help, because a lot of the songs that she was singing, it was a little bit outdated. I Kissed a Girl and I liked it. Who the hell gave the green light for that? I mean, there are still a lot of conservative Americans that's out there. And you know, I'm just thinking about those households that probably were just cringing as they had their kids and all that gathered up at the TV. It's supposed to be great family quality time. And you have Katy Perry just going, I kissed a girl and I liked it. Her sweet red cherry lips. You're like, huh? I even had my girl saying to me, did she actually just, I said, yeah, you don't know about this song? She said, no, this is my first time hearing it, and I hope it's the last because I don't like this song. It's making me feel uncomfortable. I said uncomfortable in a and she's like uncomfortable as in this is something that like should not be airing for millions of households to be hearing. I'm really baffled by that. Where's the standards? NFL commission. I mean, come on now. Think about the American households. But a lot of her material was a bit outdated, right down to the point that at one point towards the end, Missy Elliott came out, and I think she was doing her "Get Your Freak On" joint. I'm like, damn. So we're going that far back? We're going like 15 years back now? I was like, come on. Missy Elliott looked good though. Don't get me wrong. I love Missy Elliott, but I mean, again, outdated material. I've always been a Lenny Kravitz fan. I think he is one of the most underrated singers, definitely one of the most underrated guitarists of our generation. He does not get enough props. That is a man that actually taught himself how to play guitar. If you were to just envision what Jimi Hendrix would be like today, just like reincarnated, and he wasn't dealing with the drugs, and his life didn't end because of the drugs and all that. I think he would turn out okay in the form of Lenny Kravitz. Lenny Kravitz, I'm telling you, hands down, great guy. If you have never heard of Lenny Kravitz before, go pick up his greatest hits compilation. Some really good stuff right there. But for me, the greatest highlight of the Katy Perry halftime show was seeing Lenny Kravitz rocking that damn guitar. Age does not know anything when it comes to Lenny Kravitz. He still looks like he did, God, like 15, 20 years ago almost, just with shorter hair. But Katy Perry, just her alone herself, I thought it was a weak performance. I thought they could have did a little bit better. That's the halftime show. Let's pick things up now with some more football action. Let's pick it up in the third quarter as Russell Wilson, once again, he found Chris Matthews for a 45-yard pass. This would basically set up a touchdown, as at this point the Seahawks were up 17-14. Also in the third quarter, Tom Brady, he had a pass that was intended for Rob Gronkowski, but it was intercepted by Bobby Wagner for no return. He was tackled by Brandon Bolden. There was actually a penalty that followed afterwards, as there was a illegal block on Seattle. It was on Richard Sherman. That was good for about 10 yards. 5 minutes into the third quarter, on second and third down, Russell Wilson would pass to Doug Baldwin for 3 yards, set up a good touchdown right there. There was a penalty that shortly came afterwards for unsportsmanlike conduct. It was on Seattle's Doug Baldwin. That was for a minus 15 yards. At this point, we go into the fourth quarter, a little bit, about 10 minutes, 58, still brand new to the fourth quarter here, still at the beginning. On third and 14 at New England's 28, Tom Brady passed to Julian Edelman for 29 yards. That would be set up a couple of plays later by a Tom Brady pass to Danny Amendola for a 4-yard touchdown pass to set things up 21-24. Let's go a little bit less than 2 minutes into the fourth quarter at 2nd and 3 at Seattle's. Tom Brady would pass to the left to Julian Edelman for a 3-yard touchdown. And with about 26 seconds left, Russell Wilson, he had a pass that was intended for Ricardo Lockett. This was a big, big play right here because Seattle was looking for that final dagger. They were looking to end things on a touchdown. But that Russell Wilson pass intended for Ricardo Lockett would be intercepted by Malcolm Butler, a rookie who returned it for 3 yards. Big, ugly stuff was going on right here. There was penalties for unsportsmanlike conduct. Shortly afterwards, one player had got ejected. I didn't catch the name of who it was that had got ejected from the game, but it was like looking as though fights were going to be happening left and right. It was just really insane right there. But the Patriots, they would, with time management, running the clock down, they would pretty much make the clock expire to become the Super Bowl champions for this year as they would defeat the Seattle Seahawks 28 to 24. Fantastic game. I loved what the owner of the Patriots had said in setting up the Lombardi trophy and all that. He said it twice. Once when he was talking with Michelle Tafoya on the sidelines, and then again when he was presented with the trophy at the podium. He basically had said, look, our team, they defeated another great team a couple of weeks ago. It was basically 45-7. I know controversy had surrounded that, but you go into this game that we played against Seattle, and we did not touch the ball. Our staff did not touch the ball at any time. We came in here and look what happened. We beat the Seattle Seahawks 28 to 24. And I like how he just rounded it all up, basically talking about how this fourth Super Bowl win for the franchise is just as important as the very first time that they won it. And I'm sure you guys can kind of understand why when you trace it back, because they kind of won that championship right around the time of September 11th and all that, after the events that happened there and everything. And Mr. Kraft, he basically was like, hey, I thought that was a very emotional, a very important Super Bowl victory for us back then. But to be here right now, holding on to this trophy here tonight, this trophy right here, this victory right here, this Super Bowl win, it's equal to that first Super Bowl victory. Big words right there, important words at that. From Mr. Kraft. Tom Brady, he also chimed in a little bit. Mr. Cool Joe Smooth, as I like to call him, Bill Belichick, he, showed a little bit of emotion. I'll give him a little bit of credit for that. He did show a little bit of emotion, but this was a fantastic game. I was very proud that I did not miss it. I know a lot of my friends, they ended up missing this game because of what was going on with Deflate-Gate, and it was kind of like, that's your loss. You're missing out on a really good game. Let's talk about the commercials. This is actually my favorite part of our Super Bowl coverage, as this is the second year in a row, if I'm not mistaken, that we're talking about the Super Bowl here. The commercials, like probably many of you that's out there, I love a good commercial. I love a good commercial that makes me laugh. I love a good commercial that makes me think. I love a commercial that can really push the envelope and getting to my emotions, whether it be good emotions, bad emotions. I just love a good commercial that can just have me walk away and I'm bringing it up at work the next day to colleagues. I like commercials like that. Unfortunately, this year we really did not get any commercials that really just made you go, hey, how about that you're going to be talking about the next day? Unfortunately, this year it kind of seemed like with the Super Bowl commercials, they kind of took a page out of what they did last year. Last year it was kind of like emotional stuff, and it kind of seems like this year they kind of ran with that same notion again. I mean, good examples of that. There was a Toyota Camry commercial which had showed a woman of disability named Amy Purdy. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. She did not have her lower legs. She had like these prosthetic legs, but she was able to go out there. She was able to ski. She was able to dance. She was able to drive a car. And, I get that. Okay. So she's been faced with such great adversity, and you don't think she's going to be able to do all of these great things that we're seeing that she's able to do, but she's able to do that because she has passion, she has drive, and basically those core elements is what you can find with the Toyota Camry, okay? Kind of emotional stuff right there. And then you had another Toyota commercial that would be following the relationship of a father and his daughter over the years. Seemed like whenever something big went down, the dad was always there for her. Whenever she needed a shoulder to cry on, or hell, nobody wanted to dance with her at the prom, and he was there to when she stormed out of a party drenched in the rain and she's sobbing and dad is just right there to console her, and we just see the evolution of them during the years, and it gets to a point where his daughter is all grown up, she's getting ready to go into the military, and the father drops her off at the airport, and the dad just gets so teary-eyed, he gets so choked up and everything, and he can't believe his daughter's going to fight for their country. And before she goes past those gates into the airport station, she just looks back at her dad, and dad just tears just dripping down his face, and he's just like got this look like, I love you so much, I'm so proud of you. And you're like, oh, emotional stuff like that. We'll see. There was some more emotional stuff. There was a Budweiser commercial, Best Buds. It was such a success last year. Budweiser said, let's do it again. The cute little puppy who we know is not that size anymore. He's like three times the size now. Obviously they had to get a new puppy, but you get the whole shtick. All right, you got this new Budweiser commercial with this cute little puppy. He's in the barn with his master, and basically he's kind of like talking to his horse friend or whatever. Something weird happens, and the puppy ends up getting on the back of this truck. He like goes on this adventure. He's in another city. Somehow he's able to find his way back, and he's like a couple of yards away from home. And there's a wolf that's about to eat him up real good. His horse buddy, he hears that he's nearby. He breaks down his little barn, little fence gate area, and he gets the rest of his buddies, and they're all about to stomp a mud hole in the wolf. The wolf disappears. Next thing you know, the puppy leads the group of horses back to the farm and back to its master. The master's like, oh, and you're like, oh, another emotional commercial right there. Nationwide even had a little bit of a tear jerker as they were talking about how there's like 1,000 accidental deaths a year, which involves children. And basically, they were saying these deaths can be prevented. You had like one kid died after the TV fell on them. Another kid died in a drowning pool, and basically nationwide is saying, "Hey, look, we'll be on your side, when situations like this happen, but we're also going to try to educate you to make sure stuff like that, you can prevent it from happening or whatever." But that was pretty emotional as well, right down to cyberbullying by Coca-Cola. Yeah, cyberbullying. You had like this series of events where you had one person, he was on his phone, looked like he was on Twitter, and somebody said, "You're ugly, I hate you." And that was just the trend. People were like reading their emails or reading things on Twitter, Facebook, or whatever, and you see these hateful messages that's being said about them. And it was kind of cool. Like you went to this central station of like where everybody gets their internet. It was like this main internet headquarters, and the guy was drinking Coke, and he accidentally spilled Coke into the circuits and all that. And you think, oh man, a lot of people are going to get electrocuted, or maybe this guy's just going to get electrocuted or whatever. But on the contrary, the Coke juice, like it went across all the wires, and instead of hate being spread, nothing but good love was being spread. And I just thought that was kind of awesome. I thought that was a really cool commercial. Let me see what else. There was another one that was a little bit of a tearjerker. Trying to see if I can pull it up right here. I might. Oh, McDonald's. That was another one that was a little bit of a well, that's kind of interesting. Between now to Valentine's Day, McDonald's, they got this cool campaign going on where they will just select random customers, and they'll just be like, hey, look, your meal will be free if you do this act of kindness, this act of love, or profess your love to this person. So I thought that was kind of cool. Now, I wonder if this is a case right here where all McDonald's across the lands are going to be participating or in something like this, or if this is going to be something that is just going to be happening at select McDonald restaurants. If your McDonald's ends up being one of those that is participating in this and you happen to be that lucky person, definitely let us know. I'd love to know about your experience so we can share it on our next show. But you had a lot of emotional stuff like that, and you're kind of like, damn, there sure is a lot of emotional stuff. At one point, especially with the whole father commercials. There was even a Dove commercial that was dedicated to dad or whatever. And I'm like, okay, when's Father's Day? And I'm told Father's Day is not happening until June. I'm like, well, damn, it's kind of early. Why are we doing the emotional stuff? There was some bright spots as far as like movie buffs out there. I got a couple of commercials for some movies I can plug for you all that might be of interest to you. George Clooney, he has a new movie that is being produced by Disney. It's called Tomorrowland. It looks a little interesting. I think this might be the second time that George Clooney has done something with Disney. If I'm incorrect on that, somebody please let me know. Also, we had saw the commercial for Terminator Genesis. That's going to be in theaters on July 7th this year. It's being distributed by Paramount Pictures. I need to see a little bit more. I'm not really sure what to make of this. It just kind of, it didn't excite me. I didn't jump up and down. I didn't say, "Oh wow, Schwarzenegger's back." I didn't. I mean, hell, you're talking to somebody that like did not see Christian Bale in Terminator. What was it, Salvation? And I heard that was actually pretty damn good. So we've seen this Terminator franchise get rebooted so many times, and it's kind of like, man, is Schwarzenegger really going to help? I'm just a little bit surprised that at this point in his career, late into his career, I might add, he's not going in the direction of trying to direct films more. I'm surprised he's not going in the Clint Eastwood, Sylvester Stallone, Bobby De Niro director seat direction. I'm just a little bit surprised, a little bit baffled at that. I'm not saying that the Terminator Genesis commercial was bad. I'm just saying it really did not grab me in a way that was like, I've got to see this. I can't wait to see this. It didn't get at me like that. However, the Fast and Furious 7, that's going to be coming out this April. I'm definitely going to be checking that out for sentimental reasons. I don't think I need to elaborate any more than that for those of you that are familiar with the Fast and Furious franchise. Ted 2. Yes, there is going to be a sequel to Ted. Looks fantastic. Tom Brady makes a great cameo in it. I'm just going to say that. If you guys want to know what the trailer was, look it up online. But I thought that was really hilarious. I actually am looking forward to seeing that. I actually saw the first one. Let's see. For movies, that was pretty much it. Other honorable mentions of commercials I thought was really awesome that I think you guys should go out of your way to check out. There was a really good Mountain Dew Kickstarter commercial with a bunch of guys chilling in the basement, and they were taking turns drinking the Kickstarter, and they just started to do this weird freaky type of dancing, and like all their stuffed animals, deer head on the wall, they just started dancing along with them. It was hilarious stuff. Subway commercial, there was a guy that kept getting hit by dodgeballs. I thought that was freaking hilarious. Let me back up to movies 1 second. There was actually a trailer shown for Jurassic World. Yes, this is a sequel to Jurassic Park. Doesn't look like Jeff Goldblum has anything to do with this one. Here's hoping, though, that maybe he makes a little bit of a cameo, as well as people from the first two sequels. Here's hoping that they make some type of a comeback. See what else we got. There was a new Kate Upton Game of War commercial. I love Kate Upton for obvious reasons. I'll let you guys marinate on that one. See, there was also a really cool commercial. I think it was a BMW commercial with Katie Curry and Brian Gumble. If you are fans of those guys and you remember growing up watching them on the Today Show, then you'll actually get this commercial. You'll enjoy it. You'll have a good laugh. But basically, the commercial kicks off with them. It shows like a clip of them from an old Today Show from like the early 90s, and they were like, there's this thing going on with like this internet, and it's like an address, and there's like a funny at symbol. Can we pull that up? And they showed a little image, and Brian Gumbel's like, I don't get that. What does this mean? What is the internet? Can we get a true definition of the internet? And then like you fast forward to like today, and now they're tripping over the fact that cars are running off of energy and all that. And it ends with Brian Gumble asking Katie Couric, does she know how to twerk? And Katie says maybe. So you're kind of like, funny stuff right there. Of course, I got to show love to my man Machete's Danny Trejo. He was in the Brady Bunch Snickers commercial. Enough said. Classic stuff right there. That thing was awesome. There was also a nationwide commercial with that girl from the Mindy Project, the star of it, and Matt Damon. That was a good little spot right there. Liam Neeson, he did an awesome commercial for the game Clash of Clans. Kind of did a little bit of a spoof from his character of the Taken franchise. Of course, Esurance, Bryan Cranston resurrecting Walter White. Enough said. You got to go out of your way to check that out if you haven't already. Great stuff right there. This one for personal reasons, because I actually had watched an episode of Bullshit. That's actually the name of it. It was a hit series on Showtime for a good number of years, starring Penn and Teller, the magicians. I thought it was kind of cool seeing them in a Mazda commercial. They were plugging the Mazda CX-5. So funny, too, because I literally, of all the episodes of Bullshit I watched, over the weekend, actually, like less than 24 hours ago, I was watching an episode of BS where they were talking about Walmart. Those of you that remember that infamous series that they did, you remember the Walmart episode. You're like, yeah. Great stuff right there. I just find that so odd. It was like I was watching that, and then less than 24 hours later, I see them in a commercial. How cool is that? Let's talk about worst commercials. I'm sure this list is probably going to be very similar to a lot of people. Stupid commercials. There was a Skittles arm wrestling commercial. Didn't do anything for me. Kim Kardashian plugging T-Mobile's data stash. Could have did without. I thought it was very stupid. There was a commercial that was dedicated to the women, but just from the way it was marketed, I thought it was a little bit silly. I thought they could have done a little better. It was a always commercial hashtag like a girl. I'll let you guys marinate on that one. There was a avocados from Mexico commercial. I thought that was another one that was pretty silly. That's it. That's pretty much it as far as the commercials go that I thought was really silly. Didn't really, like they had no business having the airtime that they did. But the commercials this year, like I said, it was going in the emotional route. It was like they were trying to go for that juggler, and I don't know. I want to laugh. I want to jump off of my seat, in hysterical laughter and all that good stuff. They gave me too much to think about this year. There's too much emotional stuff this year. Right before we get ready to wrap things up, I definitely want to give a nod to you guys that might be commenting live right now as we're doing this for you guys. And we actually got some decent comments coming in here. Yes, we are reading comments. I'm reading comments right now. So if you want to pick my brain or you want to talk about what you had saw during tonight's Super Bowl, you're more than. And like I said, for those comments that we don't, what y'all have to say on our next radio edition of the RCWR show. That'll be airing this Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern live on Spreaker. Make sure you join us for that one because that's actually going to be our 400th episode. And we're going to be going all over the place on that episode. Not to mention, there is a really great two-part conversation that I had with the beautiful and the lovely Pro Wrestling Illustrated's rank number 18 for top 50 females in professional wrestling of last year. Hardest working woman in professional wrestling on the free agent market, Casey Carlisle. She's going to be stopping by the show. Great stuff right there. Great two-part conversation. Trust me, you guys will really, really enjoy it. And I appreciate you guys that's checking us out right now. I see we got a decent amount of people that's checking us out live right now. Remember, after we get done wrapping this up, share this a number of ways. Facebook it, Google Plus it, retweet it. Always one of the many ways you can spread the good word about our content. All right, let's get to you guys' comments here real quickly here. We'll take it from the bottom and we will work our way to the top. Ultimate Outsider. I just don't get it. Second and goal at the 1 yard line and a pass. I'm not even a Seahawks fan, but I'm feeling really bad for them. Don't you feel like Edelman should have been the MVP? Yes, I agree. In case I did not stress that enough, because I know I said it earlier. Yes, 100%. UO. I'm just going to say UO. I agree with you 100% UO. Brady was good, but it's a shame that the quarterbacks almost always gets this award. I agree. And just what was going down there towards the end, I just don't understand why they had to throw the ball. I mean, they should have just went for the rush. They were so close to the goal line there. That fourth quarter with like 30 seconds left. I don't understand why Russell Wilson made that move that he did. He should have just passed the ball, maybe try to go in for a quarterback sneak or whatever. I don't get that. Upcoming gamers, this shows that anything is possible. Yeah. Plus ones. That Super Bowl was good. I think Katy Perry stole the show when she brought out Missy Elliott to perform. Things got interesting. I will admit that. Things got interesting when Missy Elliott came out. Garrick, hell of an ending right there. I agree with everyone that Seattle should have ran the ball with Marshawn Beast Mode Lynch at the end. They only needed 1 yard to win the game. Oh, well. Yeah, that's just going to be one of those head scratchers. And I mean, he was not really a factor at all in this game. I just don't get that. They should have just kept feeding him the freaking ball. I don't get that. Let's see. Who else do we have? Beep. I'm just going to call you Beep. What was the Seahawks thinking there at the last minute? Yeah, a lot of you all are really like, what the hell is going on? And I just want to stress this. There are some of you guys that maybe just came on board right now. We talked about the game at the very beginning of the show. Then I talked about Katy Perry, her halftime special. Then I talked about the second half. So if you're just coming on and you're like, where's the results? Unfortunately, you're going to have to rewind. You can rewind now, even as we're live. That's a really cool feature that I like about YouTube. And of course, you guys that's checking us out on the downloads, you already know, powerful button you guys got is the rewind button. Steve-O, saw that Jeremy Lane injury, man. That was awful. I think losing him really did cost Seahawks because they didn't really have a lot of CB left. So I think losing him was costly. Hope he gets better. Yeah, hopefully that's not something that's going to require him to have surgery and all that. Seahawks lost a lot of people for this game. If I'm not mistaken, I think they lost like 3 people total. I can't remember the third guy they lost, but they lost somebody that had suffered a concussion. And they had noted that, you know, even after the game, unfortunately, he's not going to be able to give interviews and all of that per the Madden rule, the way that they have it set up and everything. Whitney, as far as they are concerned, they are still a diehard Hawks fan, represent. Hacked Mac, yes, we are reading comics. See what else we got. Steve O. Nah, you're responding to somebody's comments there. Let me refresh one more time. Josh, well, hey, man, I appreciate you subbing. I appreciate that. We got a lot of good content. Yes, those of you that might be checking us out for the very first time, yeah, if you like what we're doing here, I'd love to have you subscribe to us. We cover a little bit of sports, a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of music news. We cover a little bit of everything. I mean, we got a lot of great content for a lot of folks to check out, a little bit of something for everybody. So do hit that subscribe button. And that seems to be it as far as comments from now. If I haven't gotten to everybody's comments, just keep the conversation going. I'll definitely respond to you guys individually between now and our radio edition. Like I said, I want to know what you guys thought about the Super Bowl. In particular, I want to know what commercials did you enjoy from this year's Super Bowl and which commercials you didn't like and why. Quite honestly, was it too mushy? Was it too emotional? They just didn't seem to fit whatever it was that you, what's the right words I'm looking for? It just didn't reach your respected demographics, you know, way over your head. I want to know, and we'll definitely follow up on what you all have to say on our 400th edition of the RCWR show. I think we did pretty good here, though, man. I'm looking at how long we've been on the air here. And we've only been on the air for about 47 minutes. So that's good. I'm going to go on ahead and shut it down. I do want to say this, though. I thought this was very interesting. I might check out the show. I don't know how many of you guys had caught this. But on a side note, there was a really interesting commercial for a new NBC series called The Slap. And for me, it's only interesting because Uma Thurman is in it. And if you guys are big fans of her work from Pulp Fiction, the Kill Bill series, I don't know, man. The fact that she's signed on to do a TV role, I think this might be one of those type of series that's going to have a lot of people talking. I mean, when I first saw the trailer for it a couple of weeks ago, I didn't pay that much attention to it. I thought it was just laughable. But then as I was sitting down tonight and I was really watching the commercials and just taking down notes and all that, and I see the cast that's going to be part of this new series, The Slap. I see Uma Thurman's involved. I'm like, damn, okay, maybe this might be good. So that's just me, to each its own. But if you're a big Uma Thurman fan, I think that's definitely something you might want to consider checking out. We'll probably do a review for it once they do like about 2-3 episodes, and I'll give you guys the bottom line on if it's something you should go out of your way to check out. All right, so that's it. We got another show in the books. Those of you that are longtime subscribers, you all are probably wondering what's going on with us Monday night. Are we going to be coming on to talk about WWE Raw Fallout? Unfortunately, with the Steve Austin podcast that's going to be airing after Raw goes off the air, you know, he's going to be talking to Triple H. We aren't going to be competing with that this Monday, but we will come on live on YouTube to give a full in-depth review on that Steve Austin podcast interview with Triple H. All right. And then as far as the Raw review goes, we'll actually talk about it on the 400th episode of the RCWR show, Tuesday night at 10 p.m. Eastern on Spreaker. All right, guys. In the meantime, for all the very latest in wrestling, sports, entertainment news, and beyond, be kind, rewind. We got some great episodes you can check out on the downloads. All the links you need is in this episode description. You can follow me on Twitter at the RCWR show, Facebook at Infinity One Productions. If you missed all that, everything you need is in the episode description. Check the links. Make sure you give this a thumbs up, as by giving it a thumbs up, you're showing support to the YouTube creators, the uploaders, for taking the time out to upload solid content. All right, and share it a number of ways. Until next go round, I'm wishing all of you all to be safe, and most importantly, please be kind to one another. We'll see you next go round. Everybody, do take care.